What was the homeopathy's contribution during COVID-19? Did it help?
If you are asked to describe your history as a Kashmiri,
Yes, sir.
you will start with
Hindu dynasties.
And are you proud of what era?
So, relic of homeopathic learning.
Who brought that over to Kashmir?
You mentioned nanotechnology once, so please explain what nanotechnology is.
You must be aware about the discrimination faced by the LGBT communities.
Yes.
Tomorrow state comes up with a law, anti-discriminatory law, which protects the rights of this LGBT community. So supporting those laws, how will they go sacrosanct with your religious beliefs? In your religious beliefs, there's something else about this community.
अच्छा एक फेमस उर्दू का शेर है क्योंकि आपने उर्दू लिया है और भी दुनिया में इसका दूसरा बता दो
Introduce yourself.
Sir, I am Bushra Ashraf Shah. I am from Srinagar. I have done my schooling from Srinagar itself. Then I moved to Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, where from I pursued my graduation, Bachelor's of Homeopathic Medicine and Surgery. After completion of my degree, I did my clinic with my father at a private place here in Srinagar only. So my hobbies are interacting with friends and family, going on long walks, and interacting with elderly.
Your father is BMS, huh?
Sir, he is BHMS.
And you are homeopathic.
I too am BHMS, sir.
You are practicing right now?
Sir, I have left it since 2 years, but before that I was practicing. So I have kept it at stake. I can't say I have left. I have kept it at stake.
And your optional was Urdu.
Yes, sir, Urdu literature.
You have read as a BMS means you science
Yes,
subjects.
sir, I am a science student.
And then you have
Yes, sir.
Urdu also.
literature.
How would you rate
Yes,
Ghalib?
sir.
Ghalib vis-a-vis Allama Iqbal.
So rating between the two? Allama Iqbal.
Why?
So because I find his poetry quite inspirational, and the ideas he shared there, they touch my heart much more than Allama.
What ideas? That is religion.
Sir, it's inspiration for youth.
Allama Iqbal ultimately represents Islamic thought, Islamic religion.
Yes, sir. But the other way we can take it as inspiration for youth.
What is wrong with Ghalib?
Sir, nothing is wrong. It's only the way Allama Iqbal has just communicated his ideas. I think they are much more powerful than other poets.
Ghalib का कुछ नहीं है.
No, sir, that does not mean उनका कुछ नहीं है. But you asked for rating. That is why I rated Allama Iqbal first.
What about Ghalib?
Sir, he is known as Shair Mashriq.
शायरी मशहूर अल्लामा इकबाल को भी कहते हैं.
शायर मशरक़ तो अल्लामा इकबाल को ही कहते हैं भी नहीं ही.
Sorry, sir. I was wrong in mentioning.
अच्छा, are you in favor of this Indian system of medicine or not?
Yes, sir.
Indian system of medicine.
Yes, sir. I am a part of that.
Homeopathy is not part of India. It is originated from Europe.
Yes, sir. But it is included in Indian system of medicine. India has included it in its system. But the origination of homeopathy is no doubt Germany.
My view is, even in Germany,
Yes, sir.
the highest investment is made on allopathic,
Yes, sir.
not on homeopathic. Why are we frittering away our resources on this Indian system of medicine? Eventually, all opt for allopathic. And then there are justifications also.
Yes, sir.
See, say 50 years back or 70 years back, what was the average age, life expectancy in India?
Yes, sir.
And what is now today?
Yes, sir.
In Europe, in America, essentially because of allopathic medicines.
Yes, sir.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
So why this?
Sir, I agree with your opinion. But homeopathy, it's science. It will evolve eventually. So it is in its progression mode. Let us give it a benefit of doubt.
Convince me that it is evolving. It has, in fact, because it is not taught, it has evolved.
Yes,
but
sir.
it is being implemented. It is being
Yes, sir.
focused.
So there is actually a problem with its research part. We have not, research has not been given that much impetus. That is why it's rated on second level.
How old is homeopathy in India?
So in India, it's since Britishers' time.
What was the homeopathy's contribution during COVID-19? Did it help?
So it was immense. In peripheral areas, we found on PHCs, homeopathic doctors, they dedicated their valuable time. And homeopathy, it works on the system of immunity. And we find it that it found relevance, much more relevance
So
during
what was the
COVID.
treatment in homeopathy for fighting the COVID?
So it gave mainly the immunity boosting drugs like arsenic album. As various states, they gave government orders to just introduce it in PHCs.
You're from Hazratbal.
Yes, sir.
What is exceptional about Hazratbal?
So regarding what exceptional?
I'm doing a general statement.
So
Exceptional.
Hazratbal Shrine is the main attraction there.
What is there?
So relic of Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Who brought that over to Kashmir?
It was brought by Mughals. Yes, sir. Nuruddin Ashai Sahib was the custodian, but it was brought by Mughals. In India, it was brought by Abdullah Madani Sahib, who was descendant of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
And apart from Hazratbal Shrine, what else in Hazratbal?
Kashmir University, sir.
Any
Mausoleum of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah.
and
Naseem Bagh.
Naseem, NIT.
NIT Srinagar,
NIT,
yes, sir.
And what about Dal and Nigin?
Yes, sir. Obviously there.
Your concerns for Dal and
Yes, sir.
your concerns for Dal,
Sir,
if any.
yes, sir.
What type of concerns?
Sir, I feel for Dal that it has contracted from 22 square miles to 18
It has
square
not
miles.
contracted. It has not. Is again a misleading statement being repeatedly made by people around.
Sir, it
It
has
has
been
not.
encroached. Encroached, can I use it?
No, जो satellite imageries available, the satellite imageries which are available right now,
Yes, sir.
if you tally them with the, we say with the data given in Valley of Kashmir, it's almost same. Of course, level of water has receded. Some portions which were porous to water are now dry.
Yes,
That
sir.
might have taken place, but it's not. It has not.
So, but Valley of Kashmir, it was written probably in 1926, so it was far behind the current date.
Okay, then, are you proud of your this heritage?
So obviously I am.
What heritage you have?
Sir, we have arts and cultures of Kashmir.
What art and culture?
Sir, we have copper craft, we have paper mache, we have shawls, we have willow works, so we have wood carvings, we have khatamband carvings, we have paintings that is depicted in shrines of Kashmir.
If you are asked to start your history,
Yes, sir.
where from you will start your history in Kashmir? Starting point.
Sir, from ancient period, Karkota dynasty, Lalita Aditya, then coming to middle and then modern, through Muslims, Shahs, then Mughals, then Afghan rule, then Afghan rule to modern.
So you say, if you are asked to describe your history as a Kashmiri,
Yes, sir.
you will start with
Hindu dynasties.
Hindu dynasty. And are you proud of that very era?
Yes, sir, I am proud.
To what extent and why?
Sir, because every dynasty here, they made their own specific influence.
Notably, kya?
Sir, like if we go to the Dogra era, they were the people who...
That is modern.
Yes, sir. So ancient, we see the architecture here of ancient times. It's still included in the famous lists of Indian heritage. Like we have Martin Temple.
Have you visited Martin Temple?
Sir, I am planning to visit, but I have not.
Where is Martin Temple?
Sir, it's in South Kashmir.
Which place?
Mutton.
Martin. And what? And thereafter?
Sir,
आपने कहा ना एक तो कहाँ?
Martin.
Sun
Yes,
Temple.
Yes, sir.
Then
So we have Sharka Devi temple here, Hari Parbat.
what about Avantipura?
Avantipura, we have, yes, sir. Avantivarman's, those stone type of structures.
Then?
We have, as I mentioned, Sharika Devi Temple, Harivarman. We have Kheer Bhavani Temple. We have shrines of Sufi saints.
Patan.
Patan,
Stone temple.
Parihaspura, yes, sir.
Perezpur is separate. In Patan also there is a stone temple.
Yes, sir.
In Patan town itself.
I have
The
read
market
it some.
itself.
Yes, sir.
Achha, out of ancient kings, in ancient history, who will you rate as the top, as one of, and out of all ancient kings, whom will you place at highest level?
Sir, Lalita Aditya.
Why?
Sir, he is known as Samudragupta of Kashmir.
No, उसने क्या किया? What exceptional he is claimed to have done?
Sir, I don't remember it exactly.
I will tell you one thing.
Yes, sir.
They say his territory extended to seas.
Yes, sir.
Is it practicable? Isn't it a myth?
Which sea is there?
Sir,
If you
sorry, sir.
talk about Lalita Aditya,
Yes, sir.
the narrative would be that he was the greatest king.
Yes.
Why? Because his territory, this sultanate, that extended beyond seas. Up to seas or beyond seas, oceans. But I say it is a myth. It is all total, not based on facts.
Yes, sir.
Because the history of those very areas where you have adjoining sea or ports, nowhere is recorded Lalita Aditya ever to have occupied those areas or invaded or occupied whatever word you may use. And still you say Lalita Aditya is a great leader, great king.
So maybe he worked in waterways.
Why not Avantivarman? Okay.
Who is the Prime Minister of Britain right now?
Sir, it's Rishi Sunak.
What's his connections with India?
Sir, he has his roots in India.
Like what?
So his parents and his wife is from Indian origin as well.
His parents are directly from India?
Sir, sorry, I have not done enough research in this domain yet.
Okay. So who is his wife?
Sir, she is a daughter of some Indian business tycoon.
Who is that some? That some is called the Bill Gates of India.
Sir, I cannot.
He has a name.
Yes, sir, I cannot recollect. Narayan Satyamurthy.
Narayan Murthy.
Yeah.
What is Narayan Murthy famous for?
Sir, he's a business tycoon.
What's he famous for? What did he contribute? What did he made in India that made him Narayan Murthy? He gave you a hint. You didn't pick it up.
Sir, I don't recollect it.
Founder of Infosys.
Yes.
Founder of it.
Okay. So before Sunak, who was immediately before Sunak the Prime Minister of Britain?
Sir, it was Liz, Mrs. What was her name? I don't remember the name exactly, sir.
Okay.
Some lady was there.
Okay. What happened to her? How long was she in the office?
Sir, she was not for that much time, maybe a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what went against her?
So she could not control the economic crisis of Britain.
Mm-hmm.
What she could not?
Control the economic crisis of Britain. It was going through.
Why? What happened?
So she could not control the policies she was putting in.
No, she gave some policies. She gave some action plan.
So I will have to do more
Did
research on it.
did that change the fortunes of British people or not?
No, sir. Those policies could not.
What led to the election of Rishi Sunak and what are the consequences for India? Do you think that India is happy with Rishi Sunak's appointment?
Yes, sir, it is certainly happy.
Why?
So because it thinks that it will give lies in India to have good connections with Britain.
Mm-hmm. Will Sunak be comfortable with having an Indian background and then playing in favor of India?
So he might.
Do you know what recently he said about India? His
No, sir.
last statement about India.
So I am not aware of it, sorry.
Current issues very important for this.
That is very important.
Yeah.
What he says is very important.
Yes, sir.
Now, you come from the medical, and you want now to move to the administrative side.
Yes, sir.
So, given a chance tomorrow, which will be your preferred area of administration where you want to work, and why?
Sir, I'll prefer that sector that will enable me to do more in social services,
Like what?
so health sector particularly, and women empowerment.
What do you think is the problems facing health sector right now?
So India, it has a wider gap in patient-doctor ratio. Infrastructure is not well equipped. We are lagging in research. Funding is not proper, and sir, GDP contribution to health is meager as compared to the developed nations. Sir, communicable diseases, they are increasing day by day. We don't have much hold on non-communicable diseases as well, and brain drain is happening in health sector.
So, how can you address these issues?
Sir, I can address these issues if I am given a chance to come to civil services in many ways. Like if I am posted as BDO, I'll have license with panchayats. I can just help Anganwadis, which are the primary facilitators of health in any community in India. I can help with ICDS scheme. I can help in midday meal scheme. If I am posted at Tahsildar, I can mark lands for hospitals. I can give a fast proposal to medical projects. And if I am posted as director of any department, I can just convince my director to do much more for health sectors.
What's your take on the private practice of doctors?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get
Private
you.
practice of doctors who are working in the government sector. Like recently, the government came with an order, which
Yes,
they
sir.
every winter, before winter vacation, they issue an order that teachers are not supposed to do any coaching,
Yes.
you
Yes,
know,
sir.
in the
Yes.
winters.
Yes, sir.
Why are they silent about doctors? Doctors are doing practice after 4, before 9, before 10.
During duty periods.
No, that is another thing. Officially, after leaving from the institute or the medical college or the hospital they go straight away to their clinic and nobody asks them a question, and it is not illegal. What's your take?
So it should not be legalized because this way it divides the interest of doctors. They are not able to give efficient services at public domains. They focus more on their private clinics.
So you will you will
are
support
seconding him.
you will support the ban
Yes.
on private practice of doctors.
I
Do you
support the
know that
ban.
it was banned once in Kashmir?
Yes,
And
I
what were
do.
the consequences?
So many patients, they could not get the health services to the adequate level. Keeping the exigencies aside, we must ban it. But whenever a patient is in need, in exceptional cases, it must be allowed.
Exceptional cases. So
Yes.
who will decide that exceptional case? The Dr. X will work in private and he will have the private practice, and Dr. Y will not have. Who will decide that? And what will be the criteria for that?
So doctor very well knows which patient needs emergency care and who does not need.
No, we are talking about private practice of a doctor who is working in the government sector.
Yes, sir.
And you are saying that in exceptional cases it can be allowed.
Yes, sir.
So who decides this?
So hospital authorities, because they know who, which doctor is expert in which domain. They know which patient can be taken well care of by which doctor. They do have expertise there.
Do you think any hospital here will say that this patient from the hospital should go to the private sector and be seen by so and so
No,
doctor?
sir.
Then-
They must refer the patients to the expertise of their hospital only.
No,
Doctors.
but the discussion is about the private practice. It's not about referring the patient to one doctor or the other.
So in that case, we must see the greater good to greater number of people, and accordingly we must take the decision.
What is the solution of if we ban private practice of doctors? What is the solution? Do you think it is practicable?
Sir,
It has been tried once, it failed.
yes, sir.
Why it failed? Do you know it failed?
So I only remember that it was banned, but I do not know that
Must
it
not
failed.
have been born that time.
So,
So-
I was in school that time.
So now that you are a doctor, you know
Yes.
that there is a problem
Yes, sir.
that doctors in the government sector work less in the government and work more in the private, as you said.
Yes, sir.
Now you are saying that it should be banned.
Hmm.
What should be done to sustain that ban? As an
So-
administrator, what will be your proposal? that we must ban private practice of doctors, but we can do it only if we do what?
So firstly, the ethical education must be imparted to doctors, that they must give much more services at the public sector, and they voluntarily do not do so and do their best in public domain. And secondly, as I remember, when it was banned in Kashmir, many a times I witnessed police teams visiting the private establishments, and they would inquire from the neighbor people and patients waiting that do doctor provide any consultation.
Do you think that we need to strengthen the private sector in the in medical?
Yes, sir, we can.
Then the government sector doctors will work in the government, and private sector doctors will also work separately.
So
Can that be a solution, that we strengthen our private sector?
Yes, sir.
And the doctors choose either to work in the government or work in
Yes,
the
sir.
private sector.
Yes,
Can
sir.
that be one of the solutions?
Yes, sir. Certainly it can be. We must give a choice to the doctors if they want to go with public or private sectors.
Your optional is Urdu literature.
Yes, sir.
Please give me the linguistic features of Dakkani Urdu.
सर दक्कनी उर्दू के लसानी एक खसूसियात यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सर जो इस्म और ज़मायर या दूसरी चीज़ें जो शुमाल में वाव अलिफ से ख़त्म होती थी वो दक्कन में वाव पे ख़त्म होती थी और दक्कन वाली उर्दू जो है उसमें शेर व शायरी में ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल किया गया. वही लोग थे जिन्होंने इसको शेर व शायरी में पहली बार इस्तेमाल करना शुरू किया. इसमें नसर को उन्होंने बढ़ावा दिया, या नसर में नहीं, शेर व शायरी में बढ़ावा दिया. और
All right, you mentioned nanotechnology once. So
Yes.
Please explain what nanotechnology is.
So nanotechnology, it works on micromillimeter level, wherein the properties of the matter at a very minuscule scale is studied, and it is employed in various domains.
Why do we go to that scale? What is the scale exactly?
So, for example, presently we are employing nanotechnology in diagnosis of the diseases.
I'm not talking about the applications. I'm saying what is the scale that we go to?
So, it was less than 10 nanometer, or I don't remember it exactly, sir.
Okay. So can you name a scientist who led to this nano revolution? Who's actually, he gave a talk with this famous statement. He said, there is plenty of room at the bottom.
No, sir, I don't remember, sorry.
Okay. You have mentioned that it's your hobby to spend time with the elderly.
Yes, sir.
What do you do in that?
So I have been to many old age homes, and during that time, or even in my family, during that time, I just ask them what has been the difference between their times and my time. If I find anything positive, I try to inculcate that in my values.
Regarding old age homes, do you think that in Kashmir or Jammu Kashmir,
Yes, sir.
we are having a greater influx of old age homes now?
Yes, sir, we are having.
What are the reasons for that?
So the reasons are the ethical issue.
Ethical, please elaborate on that.
So, for example, I believe that the schools are not, school must impart ethical knowledge at much more extent as they are doing presently.
So how would we do that? What kind of ethics would we promote?
So, for example, moral science books, they must be involved in the core subjects of the books, schools. And secondly, second reason being
But
influx of...
what is moral for you might not be moral for some other person. So what is the measuring rod for that?
So we can have consensus with the moral educators and academia who deals with it and get it passed by them.
Okay, what else?
So second reason might be that youth is going towards modern technology, and they don't find it necessary to spend time with their elderly. Number third can be the government regulations are not proper. There must be laws where the children, they must be made legitimate to provide maintenance to their parents.
So you see, it should be made mandatory.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me the impact globalization has had on India's elderly population?
Sir, they are being deprived of time, which they should have been given.
How is globalization responsible for that?
It's a nuclear family concept.
So nuclear families was enhanced by globalization.
Yes, sir.
How?
So people prefer to have their own choices at place. They don't want to just be under the clutches of the joint family.
But how is globalization responsible for that?
So people are more oriented towards their own goals. And selflessness that used to be the ancient virtue of India, it has somewhere been diluted. And old traditions of India, they too have been diluted. जैसे हम पुराने ज़माने में क्या होता था, अपने बड़ों के साथ ही रहते थे लोग, बट नाउ ऐसा होता है कि अब उनको ये चीज़ फील नहीं होती है कि हमें बड़ों को भी अपनी फैमिली में इंक्लूड करना चाहिए.
तो उसके लिए it is globalization which is responsible for it.
Yes, sir.
Anything else which is inherent in India which is responsible for the condition of the elderly population?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get.
Okay. Sir.
Must be aware about the discrimination faced by the LGBT communities.
Yes, sir.
And tomorrow the state hasn't done enough to address those issues, those grievances of theirs. And tomorrow state comes up with a law, anti-discriminatory law, which protects the rights of this LGBT community. How would you feel about those anti-discriminatory laws?
So I'll be very much comfortable. I'll support those laws.
Okay, how will those laws, supporting those laws, go in sacrosanct with your religious beliefs? Please tell me.
So who says they go sacrosanct with our religious beliefs?
I'm saying, suppose you're tomorrow supporting those laws passed by the state, anti-discriminatory laws. So supporting those laws, how will they go sacrosanct with your religious beliefs? In your religious beliefs, there's something else about this community.
Yes, sir.
So how will supporting those anti-discriminatory laws, you said like I'll support those anti-discriminatory laws, how would you feel about supporting those anti-discriminatory laws? Don't you think they won't go sacrosanct with your religious beliefs?
So religion, it is a matter of personal choice, and it cannot be trusted in every policy. India, it is a secular state, and everyone's religious beliefs, they must be accommodated and deliberated upon well. Giving room to everybody to profess his rights and choices.
Okay, say tomorrow you are posted as a tehsildar or a block officer of some place, and it's a tribal area. It's a tribal area. And there is a widow, and the elderly population of that tribal, the heads of the tribal, they decide that she's a witch. She is detrimental for our children, and they decide to burn her alive or lynch her. What would be your approach? Like, you're the officer of that area.
So my immediate approach would be to transfer that woman to a rehabilitation center, and long-term goals would be to educate and make aware those people that to dilute their superstitious beliefs. And I might work on education centers and the training sessions that must be run in those areas.
Okay, have you any idea about the work-life balance? Have you?
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow suppose you are posted as, you're selected as the candidate, a potential candidate for this. How will you balance the challenge, the nuances of this job with the kind of the challenge you will be having in your family life? How will you balance it out?
So firstly, I would earmark the boundaries I can work up to, and I'll put my priorities first. But that does not mean that I sacrifice all the other priorities. I'll do rating of my priorities. Accommodating all, I'll make a way out.
Okay, fine. Since you have in your hobbies, this is my last question to you. In your hobbies, you have mentioned about spending time with elderly. Now, do you think the modern day parenting, it is quite different from the traditional way of parenting? Don't you think this is much better way of parenting than what parenting we have, like my generation has? Today's parenting, I believe, is much better, more holistic. How far do you support that?
No, sir. I'm not in total modern day parenting. No doubt, it is leading forward in some.
What is the biggest difference you witness in modern day parenting, and that was not present in the traditional parenting when you were a kid or when you have witnessed it?
Maybe the technology has crept in. That is a major difference. They did not have technology. They did it their way. Today, modern day parenting, technology has crept in, and they are doing it that way. but I don't find any major differences between the two. They are well accommodating, having both their positives and negatives.
So there is this talk of technology that he brought in and modern day parenting and all. There is this concept called digital natives and digital migrants. Have you heard this?
No, sir, I have not heard.
So the modern generation that is born after 1994, उनको millennials भी कहते हैं, they are called the digital natives because the technology they adopted from the day one, so they became natives, and we are migrants, the old people. अच्छा, एक फेमस उर्दू का शेर है, क्योंकि आपने उर्दू लिया है और भी दुनिया में सुखनवर बहुत अच्छे, इसका दूसरा बता मुझे। है और भी दुनिया में सुखनवर बहुत अच्छे, कहते हैं।
Ghalib.
She does not like him.
She does not like Ghalib.
Sir, I did not say I don't like him. Sir, मुझे पता है ये शेर, बट याद नहीं आ रहा। कहते हैं ज़माने में कोई मीर भी था।
नहीं,
गालिब का अंदाज़ बयां।
कहते हैं कि गालिब का है अंदाज़ बयां, और गालिब इज़ रेटेड इन द उर्दू द हाईएस्ट, अबो अलामा इकबाल. Allama Iqbal, we have an emotional, connect. So far as Urdu poetry is concerned, we have an emotional connect with him because he represents Islamic thought, Islamic religion. But when it comes to the Urdu literary community, they rate Ghalib higher than Allama Iqbal in Urdu, not in Persian. In Persian, probably he will be higher. अच्छा, ये सुना आपने शिकवा और जवाब शिकवा क्या है ये?
जी, पहले वो अल्लाह से शिकवा करते कि हमने क्या क्या किया और मतलब how did we contribute.
किसने लिखा है शिकवा और जवाब शिकवा? अल्लामा इकबाल ने लिखा है.
How did we contribute to your service, and फिर अल्लाह से शिकायत करते हैं कि आप भी थोड़ा और करें हमारे लिए.
फिर अल्लाह ने क्या कहा? जवाब शिकवा में क्या है?
सर, फिर उन्होंने उसमें ये डिलीवर करने की कोशिश की है कि अल्लाह तो हमें शिकायत करने से कभी मना नहीं करता, हम भी कर सकते हैं और उसी से करनी चाहिए.
सर,
बेटा आपको ये your date of birth is 1993. So you said during our time ban was imposed, this was done, that was done.
Yes, I do remember it. क्योंकि मेरी गली में ही न्यूरो फिजिशियन रहते हैं, तो कभी वो मुझसे भी पूछते थे when I was waiting for school bus कि डॉक्टर साहब अंदर पेशेंट्स देखते हैं.
For your information, ban was imposed in 1986. It did not succeed. It was a failure because that time the number of doctors was not that huge.
Okay, sir.
In private sector. Neither there was infrastructure available, nor there were private hospitals. Even if you had a common cold, you had to apply for leave and go to the hospital because of this ban.
Okay, sir.
Which ordinarily one could go to the doctor in the evening. But it was because of essentially non-availability of healthcare facilities in private sector. Secondly, non-availability of doctors, non-governmental doctors for private practice. The ban became a problem and government eventually withdrew that. But now the time is that you have now enough number of this medical paraphernalia, doctors and other staff paraphernalia, everything is available. One can manage this. So there is, if teachers are banned, that they should not go for private practice, these private tuitions, this should apply to doctors also.